Hello everyone, welcome. So this is an orientation video for Bio 1. So I'm in Student View on Canvas right now, and I'm on the home page. On the home page, you can see this is the textbook we're using, and you have a couple links here. You have course information, syllabus, and course schedule. So I'm gonna go over the syllabus first, and then we'll go back on Canvas and I'll show you a couple things there. So my name is Prabjeet Karbrar. I will be the instructor for this lecture portion of the course, and this is your lab instructor. As the email address for the lab instructor, and that's my email address. I have student hours actually on Tuesdays at 1 to 2 p.m. via Zoom. And you can either click here for the Zoom link or you can click on the home page for the Zoom link. The course modality, the lectures are asynchronous. I'll be posting the video on Canvas, and the labs are in person. Um, I do not have the hours for the lab at the moment. Your lab instructor will be reaching out to you or be adding the hours to the syllabus. So you can check on that when it gets closer to the semester. These are some important dates, drop dates without a W, and last day to drop with a W, and this is the final exam date. Lectures are posted online. They are due by midnight and before the lab, usually, if that's the topic that's being covered in the lecture. So be sure to check lecture video due dates on Canvas and your to-do list on Canvas every day. So you are responsible for staying up to date with the course. This is the course description. You can read through it. And this is some course information about what type of assignments we're going to have and where those will be available. This is a textbook we'll be using. You can either get the electronic copy or a hard copy, it's your preference. We'll be using Respondus Lockdown browser for the exams. You can click here to download it. And once you have it downloaded, to take the exam, you'll have to open the downloaded application of the Respondus. And once it opens, you're going to log into Canvas through it, and then you're going to take the exam. If you have any technical issues with it, you're gonna call this number. Please do not email me or call me. I cannot help with any of the tech issues. Maybe if you can't find something on Canvas, then you can reach out to me, but I cannot help you with technical issues. So let's say your exam is on a certain day. I would recommend getting this done before the exam. So, you're not falling behind. The exam will be open for 24 hours. Let's say your exam is on Monday, it'll open Sunday midnight and close Monday midnight. Do not wait until like 5 p.m. on Monday to take the exam. Then you run into tech issues and they're closed for the day. They close at 5 p.m. and you can't really do anything. So I recommend starting ahead, getting the respondents working, and taking the exams early. So in that case, if you run into tech issues, you can still call this number. I'll be posting the handouts, lecture recordings on Canvas, so you can find those there. These are some course expectations. Read the syllabus carefully so you understand the structure and the expectations. Keep up with the lectures, homework assignments, because each one builds on the previous one. So you'll be watching lecture videos every day or each week. This is the student conduct code, civility statement, how you're supposed to behave in the classroom. And I try responding to the email within 24 to 48 hours, but if there's a delay, maybe send me another email. And I recommend that you reach out to me through Canvas inbox. That's the best way to reach out to me. And if you email me, sometimes I don't know which course you're emailing me from, but if you email me, send me a message through Canvas, then it shows the course number. These are the learning outcomes for the course. This is your grading policy. Lecture videos are worth 30%. If you decide to not watch the lectures, you're not going to pass the class. So lecture videos, when you play the video, there are questions that are popping up. You're going to complete video and you're going to get points for those questions. The questions are related to the topic I'm talking about in the lecture. And you have 2 attempts on each video. So you can watch it twice. If you get something wrong the first time, you can get it right the next time. Lecture exams are also worth 30%. Your lab work is worth 30%. Your lecture homework is worth 10%. You also have 2 attempts on the lecture homework. And this is your grade. So, if you have 79.99999, that's still a C. For you to have a B, it needs to be 80%. So this is a grading scale. Late policy, so try to stay um, on try to turn everything in by the due dates. But sometimes things happen and you can't really turn something in on the due date. So your assignments on Canvas, you have lecture videos, you have some homework and lab reports that your lab instructor is going to let you know about that. You have some homework quizzes and your weekly lecture module. So let's say you can't turn in a lecture video on time. I do not close them. You can still turn it in late, but there's late penalty. So I just want to show you a little bit about that. So let's say if you turn it on time, it's full credit. It's 1 day late, you can get up to 90% of the points. It's 10% per day. 2 days you get 80%. So on. So if you can't turn something in on time, I would still recommend turning it in maybe a day late or something, so you can still get some points. Missed exams. So like I said, I have given you the dates in the schedule. I'll show you that in a minute for the exams. Set some time apart on those days to take the exam. The exam is open for 24 hours. So if you miss the exam for no reason, you cannot make it up. But if you have a medical emergency and you miss the exam, you can make it up, but you have to give me doctor's paperwork or medical paperwork. If you miss the exam due to technical issues, you cannot make it up. That's your responsibility to make sure your computer's working before the exam. So that's why I said don't wait until last minute. Exam proctoring, so we'll just be using Respondus. This is just to let you know that you'll be using Respondus for it. Dropping, if you want to drop the course, you are responsible for dropping it. If you don't drop it, it's still going to end up showing up on your transcript. For lab participation, lab attendance, there's a separate form on Canvas. I'm going to show you where your lab instructor is going to post everything about the lab. So this is a student accessibility services, DSPS website. If you're a DSPS student, then you need to reach out to them and give me the paperwork so I can provide you the accommodations that you need. And this is the student code of conduct, so you can read through that. So let's go back to Canvas. So that was the syllabus. Underneath you have the course schedule. This is your course schedule. It's clearly showing you the exam dates. This exam is going to open at midnight on the 3rd and close at midnight on the 4th. These are the chapters it's covering. So make sure you take it on time. And exams are open notes. So you can use your notes. I would recommend taking notes while watching the videos. And there are also some review videos that I make. So maybe if you don't take a lot of good notes on the actual lectures, take good notes on the review video. So you can use the notes for the exams. All right, let's go back to Canvas here. So where to find everything? So you can find the assignments on your to-do list, but the best place to go to is calendar. But before that, let me go to modules. These are the modules. This is your orientation to the course. So you're gonna go through that. And once you go through that, next page is gonna open and you go through those. And this is your lab module. Everything for the labs will be posted in here. So this is your lab schedule. And this is your lecture module. So I'll have different lecture modules for each week. This is for week 1 and 2. When you click here, it's gonna open a new page. Now, this is not the only thing that you have. You have multiple tabs here. So next tab has lecture content. First thing you have is the slides. And then, for example, for chapter 1 slides. And then you have these videos that you have to watch for the chapter 1. You're going to click on each video, watch it through, play, pause it, take the questions, and get the points for the video. If you want to go back and watch the video again, you can go on the YouTube link. You can watch it on the YouTube link as much as you want, but to get the points, you have to watch it through, play, pause it, and take the quizzes. This is chapter 1, this is chapter 2. Under study guides, you have some questions for each chapter. You can do these optional. You can get some extra points for it if you decide to do it. These are some extra resources on the topics that I thought might be a little bit difficult to understand, so I just give you some extra for that. You can watch these if you're struggling with something. Under assignments, you have your lecture videos that are due. You have chapter 1 homework quiz, chapter 2 lecture videos, chapter 2 homework quiz. So this is where you find all the lecture content. All right, so let's go back and let's look at the calendar. So for example, view course calendar. This is where you'll find all the assignments, or it's easy to find them on there. So this is January. So this is just showing office hours right now. And the reason it's not showing assignments is because I haven't dropped them in yet. So let me do that real quick before I show you this. All right, I just dropped some assignments in. So for example, this is when our semester starts on the 12th. And this is when your first module is due, or first chapter, not first module. So it's due every Friday. This is where your second chapter is due, second week, and on Friday by midnight. And that's your third chapter. Your homework is due also on the same day. I will drop those in after. And then you have your first exam that also show up on the calendar. So calendar is really the best place to go to see when the assignments are due. There's one more place where you can go. So let me go on the student view again. So other place is the assignments. So if you click the assignments tab and say show by date, it's gonna show you when the assignments are due right here. And you can just click here, or you can just go to your to-do list. I think that's all. Let me know if you guys have any questions. This is where you can find the Zoom link for the office hours. And I think the time changed from 1 to 2 p.m., which I changed on the um, syllabus, and I'll also change it here. So the time is 1 to 2 p.m. for the office hours. And sometimes when there's nobody in Zoom and it just kind of logs me out, so send me an email before to make an appointment, or just make sure my Zoom is turned on when you are there. And you can always email me using Canvas inbox. So that's all I wanted to say. Let me know if you have any questions.